So, it is a known fact that the point guard position in NBA 2K is hands down the hardest position to play. They have to constantly be reading the court, making the right pass, scoring buckets, and of course, stopping their matchup from doing the same thing. And this is not even to mention that they have the shortest leash out there on the court. Miss a shot or two, you're iced out. Miss a cut or two, you're iced out. Throw a turnover because you're trying to get your teammates involved, and you guessed it, you're iced out of the game. Watching the inbounder throw the rock over your head, probably into a turnover himself. Therefore, in this video, I want to go over some tips that will help us out to be a better point guard and stop losing the morale of the team. So if you are a solo or squad point guard, then stay tuned. You already know, luck got you. The first tip on this list is to make better use of the start menu when in-game. When it comes to online multiplayer game modes on NBA 2K, shot attempts are king. If you can keep everyone well fed, then you will have a way better chance at winning in this game. And honestly, the only way, or in my opinion, the best way to go about monitoring that is by using that good old start menu and seeing what the shot distribution is looking like. Because if someone just took a bugged out shot, 7 out of 10 times, if you go into the start menu, you will see either it's their first shot of the game, or at the least, their first shot in some time. And again, the start menu is where you will find this information. So if you see that your small forward is currently 0 for 2, while the rest of your team has at least 5+ shots each, it's time to actively start hunting for that man. Or if that's not your game, well, why are you playing point guard? But with that aside, if that's not your game, then just hit the small forward and let them create or try to create for themselves. Trust me, he and everyone else will appreciate getting an opportunity to try and cook their mans. At the end of the day, folks just want to feel like they are contributing and not like they paid $70+ just to spot up or grab boards. This next tip has been said before, but I feel it needs to be reiterated, and that is to slow down. As the point guard, there is usually a 50-50 chance that you are the fastest person on the court. If not you, then it's more than likely your matchup. So off rip, you're gonna be faster than your teammates, let alone once you add in that turbo. But I do get it. You need to use turbo in order to activate dribble moves. And sometimes we get lazy and leave our finger on the button, or perhaps our matchup is getting close and we want to blow past them. All of that I get, but 9 times out of 10, that will lead to us overrunning the play and turning over the ball anyway. Therefore, what we want to do is tap the turbo button, or more so use it in burst. We have got to learn to use pace as opposed to just trying to win with high speed alone. 2 instances where slowing down is highly appreciated by your teammates is going to be firstly on the inbound. Please slow down and give the inbounder some time to get up court and set, especially if it's a big man. Stop making that man run a 100-meter dash every inbound, especially if he's one of those bigs that works out of the corner. You gotta give him some time to get there. And then secondly, on the pick and roll, after you successfully lead your man into the pick, you can almost certainly take your finger off that turbo button and give the play time to develop. If it was a good pick, you should be wide open at this point. No need to run into coverage. And if you're not open, it's time to do our job as a point guard and quickly find the open man, or just move the ball to take advantage of the defense in rotation. You know, play basketball. But the utmost last thing you want to do in this situation is turbo into a help defender or into the paint, where both bigs and your matchup is probably currently standing. So if you haven't noticed a theme by now, all the tips on this list revolve around trying to earn and keep the trust of our teammates. Because at the end of the day, 80% of our wins in solo rec will come from just having the less chaotic team. And one way in which we can help to stop our teammates from going rogue is to be mindful of our own shot attempt. What do I mean? Firstly, in my opinion, unless game script calls for it, I mean like you have the clear mismatch. Otherwise, us as the point guard should not be leading the team in shot attempts. And if we should happen to be leading in shot attempts, then we had better be shooting on damn good splits, like 1 or 2 missed shot attempts. Otherwise, your teammates will start cutting and setting screens and eventually selling in order to get the ball out of your hands. Don't let you get play at a half, lead it in points. It's GG's at that point. Now I get it. Not everyone likes to play that pass first play style. Hell, sometimes I don't even feel like playing pass first. Or we might have the mismatch like previously stated. But in these events, my advice to you, because we already know randoms be hating, but in these events, if you are putting up a lot of shots, try to have more assists than missed shot attempt. At that point, there's not much your teammates can say. But, and this is a big old but at that, but that leads right into the next tip on this list. Regardless if you are the point god himself or or you got the dribble moves like Jagger, you have got to feed the bigs and the wings. And listen closely, it does not have to be an assist or your score every time. It is okay to give up the rock and let someone else try and cook their mans up. This year, the inside bigs have been going bonkers. Drop it down to the big fella and see what he's talking about in the post. Or the shooting guard. I'm not sure if y'all be knowing, but most of the times, the shooting guard is just a point guard in disguise, who's either taller than the actual point guard or has a lower pass accuracy. But that dude probably didn't step into the rec to be no spot up. Let him get an inbound pass or two. And honestly, this right here is most random point guard's issue, in my opinion. Everyone wants to be John Morant, Chris Paul, or Magic Johnson. But when the game calls for it, say you're having a bad game or your matchup is a dog of a lock. In these situations, we sometimes have an issue taking a step back and just being Derek Fisher or Pat Bev, a guy that just brings the ball past the timeline and passes it to someone else and let them cook while we spot up for them and play solid defense. And this one really grinds my gears because not many things in this world is worse than watching someone get boxed up for 18 of 24 seconds just for them to pass the grenade to come set you a screen, or now they want to start cutting to the paint. Like, dog, please make the early pass and sit your ass in a corner somewhere. But the next tip on this list to kind of wrap everything up and bring us back home, the next tip is going to be to read the flow of the game. As the point guard, ideally we have some of the best or highest IQ out there. At least it would be expected by your random teammates. So we kind of have to be mind readers, or 2 passes ahead of the game, I should say. You want to be reading the game flow. This starts pre-matchup with seeing your teammates and opponents' builds. Like we said earlier, with the shooting guard. This is where you want to see what his build is looking like. Again, it's probably going to be another point guard. So now you know, hey, let me let him cook here and there. Same thing happens with the small forward, that happens with the shooting guard. But let's check that out as well while we are here. It kind of sucks because you don't have enough time to check out every single positional matchup, but definitely check out yours and see if you have the mismatch. Then from there, I say check out your big to see if he's an inside or outside big. And if you have time, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, in no particular order. And then once the game starts, please, for the love of me, feed that big man if he won the jump ball. I guarantee you, he will appreciate you. And as the game goes, just kind of gauge who's your shooters, who's your cutters, and who's your trash bags. All of them need to be fed, especially that trash bag. Because if he evolves into a seller, it's GG's and you might as well just dashboard. So try and find spots here and there, like in the first couple of quarters, when the score is close, where you can make him feel a part of the team. But by halftime, we should have identified who's the dogs and who's not on the team. And hey, listen up, listen closely. Sometimes we are a part of that not category, which is okay. Not every game's gonna be our game. But if we are part of that not category, don't let us now evolve into a seller. Just keep that rock hot and get it to one of your dogs and play solid defense and let the game come to you. By the fourth quarter though, all bets are off and all feelings off the table. If it's a close game, i.e. within 10 points, that rock needs to be going through whoever has had the hot hand or mismatch all game. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. If you're blowing the other team out, then go crazy, but also let your teammates go crazy as well. But these are my 5 solo rec point guard tips. And a quick bonus before we get out of here, keep that damn ball hot. Luck out, y'all. Peace.